Allan is questioned by the police at the beginning of Love and Death episode 5 as they inquire about the relationship. The police suspect Allan may have been involved in the murder and are investigating him. After that, the police call Candy in for additional interrogation and request a sample of her fingerprint. She responds that the relationship with Allan has been over for 8 months when they ask about it. The police then openly accuse Candy of killing Betty, but Candy continues to insist that she is innocent. In order to gauge Candy's foot size, the officers request a pair of slippers from her. They also demand Candy turn over her tennis shoes for examination. They also see Candy's right foot's cut. Candy and Pat speak with Don, the neighborhood lawyer, about the charge and ask for his assistance with the case. Don is certain that he will be able to assist Candy and requests that the couple only divulge any personal information to him after he has been retained as their attorney. Pat is asked to leave the room, and Don begs Candy to confess to him if she is to blame. Don assures Candy that she is innocent and will free her from this situation. He requests that Candy not communicate with Allan at all. On the other side, Allan is at Betty's hometown with her family for a memorial ceremony. Candy, the woman he was having an affair with, is named as a suspect in Betty's death, Allan admits to Betty's parents. Betty's mother despises Allan, but he assures her that everything was resolved long ago. Pat is at the Montgomery residence when Sherry arrives and inquires about the status of Candy's probe. Pat informs her that Candy is withholding information about the inquiry from him. A reporter shows up at the Montgomery home and attempts to speak with Candy about her role in the investigation. Candy calls Don to inform him that the police are speaking with the media. Candy finally admits that she did kill Betty when he summons her to his office. She conjures up the tale that Betty sprang at her with the axe and that she only struck back to protect herself. Don tells him about the upcoming polygraph test she will have to take and begs her to keep this between the two of them only. Don acknowledges that a criminal attorney called Robert will be necessary because he lacks experience in this type of situation. Candy is adamant that Don must stand up for her. Candy and Allan both take the polygraph examination. Candy begins to panic as soon as the examiner inquires about her injured toe or anything pertaining to the laundry area. Candy and Pat argue about her footwear later that evening. Candy tells Pat a falsehood about throwing them away and queries his sudden interest in them. Pat regrets not being more inquisitive all this time. Don finds out that Allan passed his polygraph test in the midst of all of this. Candy seeks to speak with Sherry in order to get assurance and to ensure that those around her believe she is innocent. Don calls Candy and informs her that the state has issued an arrest warrant for her. He requests that Candy visit Don's office and that Pat raise $10,000 from her $100,000 bail bond as bail money. While Pat brings his children home, Sherry transports Candy to Don's workplace. The children are concerned that their mother may go to prison after hearing about Candy's arrest on the news. Pat assures the children that Candy is safe and will return home shortly. Don is irate that the district judge is overseeing this case, so he and Robert struggle to come to an agreement on Candy's bail bond. Don requests that Robert take Candy to the police station while she fetches the bond. A group of reporters tail Candy's car as she travels in an effort to get a statement from her, but Candy is arrested, shocking both Robert and her. Candy is requested to take off her clothes so that the bruises on her body can be inspected and noted. Don informs Pat that Candy will have to spend the night in jail because their bond was not accepted. He assures her that Candy will leave the following morning. The news says that Candy's handprint was discovered on the fridge door at the Gore residence, strengthening the case against her, and that Allan's extramarital relationship may have been a factor in Betty's slaying. Allan appears to be processing the information slowly and is in a state of shock. Candy is released from prison the following morning, and Don tells the media that Candy is innocent in a statement. He also says that a guy committed the crime and accuses the police of botching the investigation. Don is upset that Candy has already been portrayed negatively in the media by being referred to as an axe-wielding murderer. Don decides to take action to make things right by giving Candy advice on what to eat and wear. He claims that Candy needs to slim down and appear lanky in order for the judge and jury to not perceive her as someone who might kill someone with a powerful weapon like an axe. Candy is alarmed by Don's anger as he urges her to reveal her weakness to the public. He also requests that Candy visit a Houston area psychiatrist. Candy talks about her conversation with Don that night, but she keeps much of it private. Pat is concerned that Candy is acting in this way, but she asserts that Don and God are the only ones responsible for saving her, and as a result, they are the only ones who need to be aware of all the specifics. Pat admits to her that he is struggling as well. The following morning, Don speaks with Pastor Ron and warns him that Candy's trial will destroy the church and that he must rally the members to support Candy. Don engages in a piss-off with the court during Candy's bail hearing 2 weeks later. Candy is furious since the hearing's outcome is not in her favor. Pat informs Jackie that Candy is keeping a lot of the case's specifics a secret at her residence. Candy is confronted by Jackie, who demands an explanation from her as to why she is covered in bruises and cuts. Candy dodges the inquiries and insists on her innocence. Candy observes in Houston how unfavorable the public perception of her is as it happens. Pat makes a scene at Don's workplace while demanding information about Candy's situation. Candy feels a sense of liberty after the therapy session with the therapist. Candy has a breakdown in the middle of the therapy session as a result of the therapist forcing her to confront her deepest fears, especially the trauma from her past. Don is astounded to witness a woman go through a mental breakdown like Candy. The family is gathered around the dinner table at the Montgomery home when Don calls. As the episode comes to a close, Don informs Pat the truth regarding Candy's involvement in Betty's slaying.